All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're tackling a massive, fast-moving threat that property owners in Grandview and the Kansas City metro area are facing literally right now. You know, when water gets inside your house, it doesn't just sit there. It is actively destroying things. But if you understand exactly how that destruction happens, and more importantly, how to stop it, well, that changes the whole game.
Now, dealing with water damage is, well, it's pretty chaotic. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover Grandview's unique water risks, the hidden cost of waiting, the 3 scientific categories of water, how the professional restoration process works, and finally, navigating the maze of insurance and costs.
Okay, Section 1. Grandview's unique water risks. Let's dig into the specific local threats we're actually dealing with.
So you might be wondering, why is Grandview specifically such a high-risk zone for water damage? I mean, it's really not just bad luck. It is literally a perfect storm of our local climate, our soil, and our architecture.
Let's look at the main culprits. First off, Grandview has really clay-heavy soil. It just doesn't absorb rainwater well at all, which causes runoff to just pool aggressively right against your foundation. Adding those heavy spring rains we get, and boom, low-lying areas near the Blue River and Martin City are dealing with severe basement flooding. Then think about winter. Those crazy freeze-thaw cycles, they'll absolutely crack the pipes in poorly insulated attics and crawl spaces. Oh, and we definitely can't forget about our older, historic homes, especially the ones south of Main Street. A lot of those still rely on aging, galvanized pipes that can just corrode and leak without absolutely any warning whatsoever.
Moving on to Section 2, the hidden cost of waiting. Once water enters your property, every single minute counts. Because honestly, what you can't see is usually what causes the most expensive damage.
Here's how fast that hidden clock is ticking. Within just one single hour, water is rapidly spreading through porous building materials. It soaks into everything, and if you leave it unchecked for just 24 to 48 hours, mold actually starts colonizing in those damp spots. Crazy, right? And to fix it properly, it takes an average of 3 to 5 solid days of professional structural drying just to get those materials back to a safe baseline. Seriously, that clock starts ticking the literal second a pipe bursts. Now, this timeline totally debunks a massive DIY myth. You might think, hey, I'll just grab a shop vac and a box fan, it'll be fine. But no. Surface drying like that, it leaves all this hidden moisture trapped deep inside your wall cavities and subfloors. Professional structural drying is a whole different ballgame. It uses specialized equipment to actually pull the moisture out from all the affected materials, which stops that hidden mold growth completely dead in its tracks.
All right, Section 3, the 3 categories of water. Let's break down the science of contamination here. So, the restoration industry actually classifies water damage based on escalating health risks. It starts with Category 1. This is clean water, like from a broken supply line. Pretty straightforward, but it gets worse. Category 2 is gray water. This has moderate contamination. Think of a washing machine overflowing. And then there's Category 3. You do not want to mess with Category 3. That is highly contaminated black water. We're talking sewage backups or outdoor floodwater that's full of bacteria and parasites. This is exactly why Category 3 water requires literal hazmat-level safety protocols, full protective gear, and EPA-registered antimicrobial treatments. It's serious stuff.
And here's the thing. Proper water cleanup is definitely not just about throwing down some towels and mops. It requires psychrometry. Never heard of it? Well, it's the actual science of how air and moisture interact. Certified techs use this science to perfectly manipulate temperature and humidity. They calculate exactly how to pull moisture out of really dense materials so that your property's structural elements don't warp or crack or completely fail while they dry. It's a precise science.
Okay, moving to Section 4, the professional restoration process. Let's break down the exact industry standards they use to fix this mess.
Bringing in the pros really takes all the guesswork out of the equation. By sticking to these really strict industry-standard protocols, specifically the IICRC S500, professionals make sure the entire environment is controlled. This prevents massive secondary damage, like mold, and totally saves your property's structural integrity.
Let's actually walk through the exact 4-step protocol used by experts, like the folks at A+ Water Damage Restoration over in Kansas City. First up is assessment. They use high-tech thermal imaging and moisture meters to hunt down all that hidden water. Step 2 is extraction. This is where those massive truck-mounted pumps come in and suck up thousands of gallons of standing water super fast. Step 3, structural drying. They bring in heavy-duty commercial dehumidifiers that can process up to 200 pints of water every single day. And step 4 is final verification, which is basically making absolutely sure the job is actually 100% complete.
Now, I want you to remember this number because it's absolutely vital, 15%. Techs don't just guess when a room feels dry. They are in there monitoring the environment every day until materials like wood and gypsum hit safe moisture levels that are strictly below 15%. Hitting that specific metric, that is exactly what guarantees mold prevention.
Finally, we are at Section 5, Navigating Insurance and Costs. Let's tackle what might actually be the only thing worse than the water damage itself, the absolute administrative nightmare of dealing with insurance.
Listen, if you don't provide exactly the right documentation, insurance companies might just straight up deny your claim. No joke. They require daily moisture readings, crystal clear photo evidence taken before the cleanup even starts, super detailed equipment logs, and, this is absolutely critical, proof that you took steps to mitigate the damage within that crucial 24 to 48-hour window. If you fail to act fast, you could wind up footing the entire bill yourself.
You know, as the saying goes, water doesn't wait for business hours. These emergencies, they always seem to happen at like 2 in the morning, right? Which is exactly why having a local 24/7 dispatch is just an absolute necessity. A crew that can show up in 60 to 90 minutes with fully stocked trucks, that is literally the difference between a minor disruption to your week and a total structural loss of your property.
So the science is clear, the timeline is totally unforgiving, and the professional solutions are highly systematic. Which leads me to this. If a pipe burst in your walls tonight, right now, are you prepared to stop that invisible clock before the mold takes over? Think about it. If you found this explainer helpful in demystifying water damage, definitely keep these strategies in your back pocket. Until next time, stay dry and stay prepared.